Have you ever asked the question, where would I move to in the villages? What is the right village for me in 2025 or 2026? If I'm going to retire and I'm going to move to the villages, what village should I move to? I wanted to answer that question a while back, but it's very hard to find good maps to show you the villages and to show you what I think I would pick. Even though I've lived in the villages, it's coming up upon 3 full years. I've lived in the villages. I know a lot more than I did when I first was looking. This video should help you out. I want to first thank William Vayans, another native New Hampshire person that I got permission to use his maps. I'm going to use his maps because that's the best thing I could find. He makes great maps of the villages. And so I thank him for letting me use these. And we're going to jump right into, first, just how big the villages is. So let's go to my screenshots or video, and I can jump around and show you quickly a big overview before I come to the decision of where I would purchase if I'm thinking of moving to the villages. So here we go. Enough about that. On to the maps. So let's start at the top. First of all, this is his map of the villages, nicely color-coded. And I know it's small at the moment. I'm going to move in. But I just want to highlight a couple of things. This is how big the villages has become. So there you go, from north to south. This is a pretty wide shot of the villages. So let's zoom in so you kind of get a flavor. It all started here by Spanish Springs. And on this map you can see Spanish Springs started on one side of the highway. I shouldn't call it a highway. It's 441 that travels through. That's where some of the initial overpasses went for golf carts. And this area here that's in white is Spanish Springs. That's highlighted. But you can see that it expanded and it went north as far as these villages up north. And you can kind of see, and I will get some names wrong, but when you're talking that's the northern section of the villages. Then as we progress down, now I want to make this statement. I haven't found a bad village to live in. I haven't found one that I would say don't move to. They all have their charm. They all have different things that they're located by. And every time I go to a new village and I go around in my golf cart, I find the charm that's different than other sections. Let me just zoom in on this top one so you can kind of get a feel. These maps are pretty detailed of what village and what village areas are there and the names of the villages. I do want to point out things like, a good example is Oxford Oaks comes up a lot. These are for families. They are villages. They are not usually tied with golf cart paths to the regular villages. They are villages that the Villages Corporation built, but they're not. And I point these out because these were in the northern section, done a long time ago. There's actually another one further down. This one right here, Spring Arbor, you can see, and Oak Meadows. Both of those are not part of the Villages 55 plus. They are villages, but they're not age restricted. All right, so let's kind of go down. So you got Spanish Springs. I want to point out Sumter Landing. You can see this village, Lake Sumter, the white part. You can look at, there's stores, there's the entertainment center, there's restaurants. It's a complete mini town. And you can see Virginia Trace, Caroline, lots of villages. So when we talk about villages, or you ask where's a good place, It's 99% impossible for somebody to say, this is the place, don't go anywhere. It's just not like that. Now, as you go down towards Brownwood, this is where Brownwood Square is, and I don't want you to, again, very much like Spanish Springs, Lake Sumter Landing, Brownwood is an entertainment area, has a Western theme, stores, restaurants, all of those things that you would be looking for. I'm hoping you kind of get of how much there is. Now here's the turnpike. You can see like this is a rest area in the turnpike. Just between Case and Hammock and Monarch Grove is the turnpike. So newly built is the Sawgrass Grove, which is in an entertainment area, but it only has one restaurant. A unique feature of Sawgrass Grove, it's right connected with the Zell Recreation. So there's a pool, there's tennis courts, pickleball courts around there. And they put in a market for all of the stores. They have like a village marketplace for vegetables and some groceries. They also have a pizza, hamburger, seafood kind of takeout, or you can eat in the building. It's more of a food court type setup. Different, has its pros and cons. It clearly has its pros and cons. It's not like the other town centers, the other three, but in some ways it's better. But they did tie in where I didn't see with the other areas, that they've tied in recreation a little bit to the area. So they've been selling out down through Newell, Lake Denham, Dabney, and the upper part of Dabney is the Enclave. Premier homes are going in there. This is really the southernmost part of the villages north of the turnpike. So let's go to, there's a couple ways to cross the turnpike. You can see it right here. There's a bridge highway going over from the Case and Hammock, Citrus Grove, St. Catherine area. And you can go over this Bexley Bridge, which takes you over to the new area, and all of these areas are not completed. So before I go to Eastport, I just want to show you a little bit more of the northern end, and an area I'm going to point to here that I can't go in any closer. Right around Marsh Bend, there's this shaded area, and that is Magnolia Square. It has a grocery store, a Publix grocery store. It has a Village's golf carts. It has McDonald's, a couple of other restaurants, a breakfast, southern barbecue kind of place. That's a good place to pick up groceries and stuff by golf cart. You can get there by golf cart. There's another location above Chitty Chatty. You cross over the Chitty Chatty Bridge, and there's a whole plaza there for getting groceries. And I'm bringing up some of those things because I'm going to get to, let's go down to, so it goes pretty far out to the west with Hammock, Fenny, it goes out that way. But the way they're building is south. So Eastport is coming, and you've probably heard about Eastport. And it takes, like a Brownwood, with all the stores and everything else, it built a lake so they can have dragon boat races, etc. They have an entertainment area. They're going to have stores. They're going to have a Village golf cart store. There's going to be, the bank is going to be located there. But it also has baseball fields and even more recreation than what Sawgrass does. They've actually incorporated a bunch of things. And then there's like a golf training center. So a lot of people are looking for this new area to open up. South of that, they're building. A lot of us have heard about Middleton. That, again, is coated and shaded in that orange. And that means it's not part of the 55 plus. And it just happens to be right around the new high school that they built, which makes sense. But I'm aware that in that area they're going to put in some grocery stores. There's going to be a lot more items for a family type area, stores that would appeal to the families that live in that area and utilize the high school. Now, where they're currently building is Moultrie Creek, Shady Brook they're talking about, and as you can see, they're south of Eastport. That's good to know. And so now we get to the criteria of my video. So what is my criteria when looking for where I think is the ideal, not perfect, ideal place to buy in the future? And you really have to understand the criteria. I want the area to be, first of all, I want the golf cart accessibility to as many things as I can. Let's start with my criteria. 1, golf cart accessible near entertainment center. 2, I need it to be near stores, grocery store, restaurants. I want to get there by golf cart. I want to be able to pick up food, do whatever I need to do easily. I want it to be near pools. Well, that's almost everywhere. It may become a little more particular when you actually pick the village and then pick where in the village you want to live. Next, I want to be near golf. And I want to move into a neighborhood that is similar age group and people. We have a lot more in common if we're all moving into an area together. So guess what that does? That rules out previously owned the older areas. Older areas, you're going to have a mix. People that moved in 20 years ago, 10 years ago, there's going to be a mix, and your neighbors are going to be all different ages. One of the great things of the villages that I learned early on is if you move in at a time where other people are moving in, you get to know all your neighbors, friendly. Everybody's in the same boat, moving in at the same time and just learning the area, and there's just something about that developing. So I think that's really important. The other thing is, I have found buying new gives you a lot more choices. No matter what size house, whether it's a villa or a cottage, a designer, a premier, it doesn't matter your budget. You can pick the village area, pick your type of house. It doesn't matter. You have a lot more choices in the upfront part if you want to start designing your own home or picking out things for your home. As I look around here, Eastport is up and coming. Will it be ready by 2025 or 2026? Maybe. A lot of these areas take years to develop. It's not something that happens just instantly. It just doesn't happen instantly. But let me tell you, they've started building Moultrie Creek and Shady Brook, and you look to the middle, in between Citrus Grove and Monarch Grove, and Eastport's being worked on. The lots are being sketched out for these other areas. Not all of the areas, but some. So when I look at it, I'm really looking at where would I want to be in relationship to the highway. I might not want to be right on the highway. Farmstead, right outside Eastport. Now, I'm not so sure I want to be right next to Eastport. There's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of things going on, a lot of people there. So I think it's too close, even though you could probably pick northern of that. Sandy Hill looks good. Sandy Hill looks good right there. Green Grove Hill and Edenfield. Edenfield is the one I pick. Edenfield is where I would go. If you pull up village maps, it's a lot of green, but you can actually see there's a lot of water there. They're putting in a golf course right in that neighborhood, and there's Executive 9 that's up higher, right around where Monarch Grove is. Edenfield, I picked that, and let me go through the reason I picked Edenfield as my number one pick. Now, I'm sure Green Grove Hill would be close, some of the others, but let me tell you why I picked Edenfield. Okay, to Eastport, all the stores, the lake, the entertainment, it's under a mile. Now, I did the distance in a direct line. I took out Google Maps, picked the location in the middle of Edenfield, and it's less than a mile. So it's probably a mile by a golf cart. Then I did Sawgrass Grove, which is up there by St. Catherine, that little gray spot in between. Sawgrass Grove, Entertainment Center. Guess what? Little over a mile if you're in this. Believe it or not, it's almost equal distance between the two, probably depending on where you picked your house in Edenfield. The next reason is I know Magnolia Plaza has a Publix, some restaurants, all those things I named earlier. And believe it or not, that's like 2.14, so it's going to be just over 2 miles. 2 miles by golf cart is not bad. That really is. And there's some nice things and unique things up there in that area that you got to check out. But I'm looking at where I can go to a grocery store right off. And that's probably the easiest 2 miles. So then I said, how far is it from Middleton and the high school and where stores and other stuff are going to be developed for the family community? How far from there? And I did the same measuring distance, and it said straight line, it did 2.6. But it kind of cut through this non-village area. So I'm going to say it's at least 3 miles. Again, 3 miles. Right now, what I do from Citrus Grove and then go all the way up through Chitty Chatty to get to the plaza up here for me to go to the grocery store, I checked it out and it's like almost 4 miles. So it's further than going here. But I can't get over to Magnolia until they build the rest of the golf cart pass, which that will probably be closer for me in the future. But not about me. Edenfield is where I pick. I would pick also any one of those surroundings if you take a look at it. Why I would pick there's at least 3 executive golf courses in the neighborhood here, with the new one in Eastport, one above, and I'm pretty sure there's one up here in the already built section of either Linden or Monarch Grove or McClure. I know there's one up there. The stores and restaurants that you can get to by golf cart is excellent. So the shopping, you're near everything. So that's what I looked at. It wasn't a big, hard problem to look at, but it was an easy look and an easy decision. But again, when you look at the villages and you look at all of these villages, there's a lot to pick from. So that's my reasoning. That's where I would pick if I knew I was coming in a year or two. I would be getting ready to see if I could pick in those locations. Now, I recognize that area may be somewhat of a premium, because if I'm correct with all the golf courses around, many sites will have be backed up to the golf course, which get a premium price. They may be more expensive to be in that area, similar to what was experienced back when we had Richmond, that was close to Brownwood, being after all the other sections were built. Here they built a new village that was pretty close to an entertainment and shopping. So with that came a much higher demand for those areas. Now I will tell you, they're not ready. They're not ready. You can't call up today and say, hey, I want that area. But you could get an agent, a village's agent, to be ready for you and start to give you more information as those areas open up in the future. But that was what I would pick, because probably the biggest choice is deciding that you want new and you want to move in with people of similar age and similar likes and all be in one area. It really makes a difference when you gonna all play pickleball, or you're all gonna play tennis, or you're all gonna do things at the rec. Everybody's about the same age, even though age doesn't really matter once you're in the villages. That's where I would pick. Happy looking. Good luck.